A Look at Seniors is underwritten with the generous support of the Wesley community. Greater health, greater life, greater Saratoga.
Welcome back, everyone, and to our weekly series, A Look at Seniors, with Lois Celeste, who's Executive Director of Saratoga Senior Center. And as you probably know by now, each week we bring in a specialist, an expert in a field related to the issues and the challenges that seniors face. And all of us, I think, can relate to this one. You notice one day mom or dad just isn't quite reading the newspaper the way they should. Maybe they're just having a little trouble driving, something like that. Obviously, they're becoming vision impaired for one reason or another. We thought it would be important to bring in, as I said, an expert from the Northeastern Association of the Blind. This is Dr. Monica KCG. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you here. My own mother, and I think Lois was telling me, her mom too, macular degeneration. I didn't have a clue what that meant. Something that seniors do suffer from. What is it?
The macula is the part of the eye that's most important for seeing. It helps you to see a lot of the details when you're reading people's faces, and for some reason they're not exactly sure, you start to have some changes in that area, which makes it difficult for you to see those details. You have trouble seeing words or recognizing a person. Sure,
yeah. Again, in our own families, we've run into this. Is there any particular reason for it happening, this degeneration?
They're not really sure. Smoking has been associated with it. Age is the #1 factor. But there's some type of breakdown in the process, so there's no real treatments at this point in time because they're not exactly sure what's causing it.
Right. You can do some things to arrest it or slow it down, correct?
Hopefully with a heart-healthy diet, protecting your eyes from the sun, making sure you see your ophthalmologist on a routine basis, and no smoking should help. There's different types. There's a wet form where there's actual leakage and bleeding of the blood vessels, and there's a dry form where there's no leakage. In the wet form, they can do some injections to the eye to try to slow that progression down, sometimes gain a little bit of vision, but try to keep things at bay. The dry form tends to be much slower progressing, but can still impact things, but unfortunately there's no treatments for that at this time. Many may take some antioxidant vitamins. There's a particular one.
Sure, that makes sense. What other impairments do people, as they get older, what do they face?
The other two big problems come from diabetes. People who have uncontrolled sugars can have leakage of their blood vessels. Similar to macular degeneration, it makes it difficult to see faces and words, or glaucoma, but that's more of a peripheral vision loss that you can have with that. That's related to too much pressure within the eye.
Oh, got it. Okay. You know, use the word leakage there. That again, just as a civilian here, but that leakage then would cause blurring, correct? Yeah, sure.
You can have some scarring from the leakage or other type of blockouts of the vision, which make it difficult to see.
Now, at the senior center, you know, you have a wonderful population. People are in and out of there all the time. You see so many different types of issues. Do you spot this yourself in people?
I'm not sure we spot it. I mean, anyone coming in may have any kind of a deficit, you know, whether it's sight, hearing, could be health, hearts, any of that. So we're there as a resource, and our job is really to be able to refer people out if they need it. And we work closely with NABA, and they bring them in. They do educational programs for us and all of that. You know, I think the key, as you know, even with your mom, my mom, is early identification. So I think there's a little fear factor in some of this, you know, or maybe even acceptance with some of the seniors. They just accept, I'm aging, and you know, they want to keep their independence. They don't want to admit some of these things. So, but I think it is key and crucial, as we were talking, that the earlier you can get on top of these kind of issues, the better.
Well, you know what? The fear factor generally relates to the fear of loss of independence, right? You see that a lot. I imagine you do, correct?
Yeah, we try to give their independence back by giving them devices or training to help them. So we may give them a magnifier to help them see print that they're no longer seeing, or some other things in the kitchen like marking the stove, some guides to help them sign their name or fill out a checkbook that they may be struggling with. If they're having trouble walking down the stairs, especially gray stairs outside, they might put some yellow tape to make that stair more visible for them.
Oh, well, that was going to lead me to my next question, is that at the Northeastern Association for the Blind, you would be able to provide the kinds of services to help identify some of the problems. So if they needed to get extra care from the outside, from ophthalmologists or something, you would send them in that direction.
We always work
right?
with an ophthalmologist. If they have one already, we'll work with their current ophthalmologist. If they're looking for an ophthalmologist, then we'll make referrals depending on their
But also
care.
the other thing that you're talking about, and I imagine this would be important over at the center too, is visually impaired equipment. I'm saying this wrong, I know I am. But, equipment or things that you would be able to use. Maybe it's a telephone with bigger dials on it or something. Or you were mentioning the tape on the stairs.
Yeah.
These are all very important things because it would prevent accidents, right?
Accidents, falls.
Yeah.
Those 4-letter words that we talk about. Again, we can't talk enough about keeping independence for seniors during a time of loss. And I think anything we can do, whatever those helping tools are, we're happy to have them there or refer out. We want to keep people independent as well.
Yeah,
that's our major goal. We're fortunate because if you're legally blind, there are state programs that we can work with so that many of these things may be for free to the individuals that we're working with. If you're not legally blind, then we try to work with the insurance companies and other resources that we have at our fingertips so that we don't have to turn anybody away no matter what their needs are.
Yeah, their status might be, sure. Boy, what a valuable resource this is. I guess the bottom line here is, you might be suffering from this yourself. You may have a loved one that's suffering from it. It may be your parent, it could be your spouse, your significant. The main thing is to contact the Northeastern Association for the Blind and ask their advice, seek their advice. And if they're at the center,
and look at both of our websites. The Senior Center,
sure.
They were just in doing educational programs. They'll be in again doing some more. We want to keep the information out there. I think you can call, the numbers are on the screen for both agencies. So I think call us if you have any questions. Get out in front of it.
Yeah, that being the point, that if independence is the goal, which people will be afraid of if I admit this or I see it and I talk about it, my independence is threatened. It's actually the opposite. You get onto this early enough, and before you know it, you're maintaining your independence. Well, Dr. Monica, thanks. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.
And Lois, great to see you. See you next week.
Thanks, Jesse.
Okay. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.
The Wesley Community in Saratoga Springs, your choice for senior living. Experience the comforts of home at Woodlawn Commons and open a world of new possibilities. Enjoy meals in our restaurant, landscape gardens, and a full social calendar. Enriched offerings from medication assistance to help with daily living are available all in the same location. At Woodlawn, you'll have the confidence to live independently.